Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Adam. What's good in Riverside, and I have the crew in here. If you guys have been watching my Instagram, you guys know that all of a sudden I'm into fitness, and these boys have been helping us out. Me and Zach, the Bully Bandit. Make sure you go follow the challenge. We have Pure Nutrition owners up in here. They have 2 locations, one in Riverside, brand new location in Murrieta. It's my #1 spot to get supplements around here. So if you're in the fitness world, or you want to get lose that 2020 body that I think we all are right now, you definitely need to check them out. So thanks, boys, for stopping by.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you, man.
Cool, man. Why don't you guys introduce yourself? Who we got over here?
My name's Sylvester, or everybody calls me Sly. So I'm one of the owners of Pure Nutrition. We've been open since 2016, and these are my business partners.
Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Irvins. People know me as Conan the Barbarian.
I need a nickname now.
What's up, buddies? My name is Alex. I'm also a co-owner and co-founder of Pure Nutrition. Just here to kind of discuss a little bit about us.
For sure. The funny thing about me and Alex, we actually have known each other since we were kids. I used to play baseball with his brother. So, like, when I walked in the shop that day, I was like, holy crap. 1, I'm old, and 2, time flies. So you guys have been open since 2016. Who was like, what was the idea to open up a nutrition shop? Obviously, you have, like, I don't know, is Max Muscle still around? Is that still around? No, right? Are they still around?
Yeah.
I think there might be a few.
There'd be a few, because the one in Mission Grove closed, or an Orange Crest closed, but, like, I mean, you have your online supplements, you have your other one. What was kind of the reasoning on why you guys wanted to open it up?
Well, I don't know if you want to answer this.
Yeah, so, I've always been intrigued in supplementation, so I guess going to different gyms and doing being in sports, I've always wanted to go to, like, how can I, like, optimize my performance?
Mm-hmm.
How can I, one up my opponents and whatnot. So going into stores, I always just felt like I always knew more than any of the employees. Every time I went in, they couldn't answer my questions. They just always try to, like, just be so salesy, things like that. So I don't know, one night we were just hanging out with these guys, and I was just like, guys, we should really look into, like, opening a supplement shop. Like, we all just always talked about supplements. We always, like, did research, and I don't know, just the opportunity came.
Whim. What were you guys doing before it? Right, like, was, like, the opportunity come up? Just, like, I mean, obviously opening a business is kind of a big step. So was the cards just lining up for that perfect time in life?
It was probably. It was a extremely weird situation, actually. We'll can touch on it a little bit. I mean, we were just some kids with, like, a little bit of money saved up and kind of, like, an idea. And also, too, I came in a little bit after them. Some circumstances kind of brought me back to Riverside. But they had kind of thought of this idea, and then they kind of brought it up to me, and we all kind of joined in. But it was a really, really weird circumstance. His mom actually owned a business where we're currently at. She was, like, trying to get out of her lease.
What used to be there?
It was like a mini market.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, it was like continental wiring, and so I'm a first generation Guatemalan.
Okay.
So my mom used to have, like, just products from overseas, and a lot of people were always looking for it, but they had to drive to, like, Los Angeles to get it. So it was just super convenient for anyone in the Empire area to go to. So they would go there, send their money to, their families over in other countries. So yeah, my mom, she also has, my mom just passed away.
Sorry to hear that, man.
But she used to own another shop in downtown out here, actually, off of a university in Victoria.
Oh, okay.
And actually my brother's running that now.
The one right in the corner?
Yeah.
That liquor store?
No. So right across from that, it's like a really, really
small little shop. They just redid the driveway.
Yeah.
Right there. Exactly. Funny story about that place. I was driving past there maybe like 3 months ago, and I saw some dude get his ass whooped, like, right in the parking lot. Like, some guy was, like, trying to fight a guy, and you can tell, like, dude, I want to fight you. And then all of a sudden it was like, bam! And I was like, oh, okay, gotta get going.
It was probably his brother.
Yeah, maybe.
Sounds about Riverside.
Yeah, it's University Victoria. Yeah. That's definitely.
But yeah, so I mean, that kind of situation happened, and just a weird issue with the landlord kind of allowed us to kind of just, hey, let's do it, and it was in hindsight, if we would have tried to do it now, it probably wouldn't have been as easy, right? So things have a funny way of working out, and it was kind of just like a couple of dudes with an idea, and we really just kind of put all of our eggs in one basket and hoped for the best. And like my brother mentioned, we would go to different shops, and you just kind of realize it. And I don't like shit talking other shops, right? But I mean, a lot of corporate places, they have employees, right? Yeah. So someone who doesn't really have so much of a vested interest in you as much as they have a vested interest in pushing what they have to push, right? So for us, I mean, I would like to think that one of the reasons why we've been, at least to this point, successful is people genuinely like going to our shop. We've made just like countless friends from our shop. And that's the one thing that we've always stressed is just customer service and, carrying really like the best stuff that we can carry and providing the best service that we can, man. So
well, I think that's what people don't get is like when you don't own the spot, you really don't care. And maybe this just has, I've noticed this in my career owning this place is like anyone who comes in here, they're never going to care as much as you because they're not the owner, right?
Exactly.
So like, do you guys feel like that's been, maybe one of the, like something you guys have struggled with, or what other shops struggle with is that it's like GNC and all these places, like people are just working in there to get a 9 to 5 and then get out. They don't even care about repeat customers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the really big thing that we're going toward is finding the right employee who's has some vested interest in the
For
business.
sure.
So we want to either take in like interns.
Yeah.
Or definitely we've had people who are very passionate that are customers that we're seeing like, oh, well, potentially they could be employees because we educate them so well on the products and just overall like just nutrition.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely something that we're eventually going to have to, go with. And I don't know, just got to discuss.
You got to open a third shop. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So how do you guys really pick the supplements in there? Is it like stuff you guys have used before? Or do you go after things? Because like you said, like you try to promote the best products possible. Like, do you accept any product in your guys' place or do you kind of narrow it down?
You want to answer it, Alex?
Yeah. Man. I mean, with us, I'd say generally it's more so of like what we feel is just a little different in the market as far as like formulation. I feel like we kind of like to be very picky, in particular with what we bring in, because we feel like there's so many companies out in the market now that just like to use the same cookie cutter style formula, and I feel like, like what Sylvester said, I don't like to, we don't like to bash on our competition, but I feel like like NutriShop or even GNC or Max Muscle, they all kind of tend to bring in big name companies that have like the same boring formula.
Yeah.
I feel, so we try to be a little different in that sense where we like to bring in unique formulas, although, for the most part, some of those or most of those companies that we bring in are really not well known. They're very low profile, but they're very high in quality still. So I feel, yeah, man, we just we like to bring the fun, unique formulas in the shop, and we really like to take the time with that. So
yeah, for sure, because you can definitely get lost in the fitness world and supplements, and then you can overdo it. You can take stuff that doesn't really work, or and without experience, like you don't really know, and then you just waste a lot of money because some of them are not that cheap.
Yeah, I think the one thing that we've always tried to do is really kind of like cater to each individual, so someone that comes in the shop, just kind of before you recommend anything, really kind of asking questions about, hey, what's your specific need? What's your short-term goal versus your long-term goal, right? Because 99% of people who come to my shop, everyone says the same thing. I want to get big and I want to get lean, right?
For
and
sure.
I'm like, man, I'm trying I'm trying to get big and lean for the past 10 years, so I don't know, man, But it's really just kind of focusing on individual short-term goals to kind of help everyone reach their nutritional needs. And like Alex said, I feel like we carry a lot of unique products that can really help different people, and it doesn't have to be something where you come into a nutrition shop and you're spending $200. Like most of the times I'm like, hey, we'll keep it simple, one or two things, and start with that, and then we can coach you and see what you need moving forward. So yeah, man.
Yeah, I think that one thing that definitely differentiates us against other nutrition stores is we really try to guide our customer through their diets.
Yeah.
Diet is the foundation. It's the
for sure
to everything. And I feel a lot of customers don't understand that going into like
because it's the hardest part.
Shops. Yeah,
it's the hardest part. We were talking about before. It's like after you try to eat 600 grams of carbs a day, like it's not something easy.
Yeah, no, not at all.
No.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
I blink, I'm already at 1,000 calories.
You never ate chips and salsa for 3 hours at a restaurant?
Yeah. Well, that's the hard part too. Is like people like all like everyone's in the office and I have like this big bowl of like Greek yogurt and honey and strawberries, and they're like, I'm like, dude, it's only like 400 calories, and they're like, what? And I'm like, dude, it's so much food. Like it's not it's not easy. I'm starting to get used to it, but at the beginning it was like really tough to start doing it.
I think 10 shots of tequila is like 300 grams of carbs.
True. True. And sometimes I want to do that at 9 a.m. based on my job. So you guys are obviously expanding. You guys have been open almost 5 years now. You guys just opened a Murrieta shop. What was the reason on the growth? You guys wanted to just tap into a new market, or did you guys just feel like it was time to like, hey, let's start expanding?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it was just it was our time. Man, it was our time like a year ago. Honestly, I think when this whole COVID thing hit, man, is actually when we were starting to plan to find a different spot to actually dive into. And when the COVID thing hit, I mean, we had the money ready to go, but we just kind of pulled ourselves back a little bit to be able to be sure, things were going to be steady. Because with COVID, the whole economy just kind of like fell a little upside down for a little bit. Man.
Yeah, it got a little twisted.
But aside from that, man, I think, it was just our moment. I think, we were patiently waiting for the right time. We were, taking our time to try to figure out what city we want to tap into. And I think the spot that we went into was kind of like something that was like a little out of the whim. I mean, Murrieta in that specific spot, too, that actually used to be ran by a different supplement shop.
Oh, okay.
And I believe they actually closed down recently. And then while we were just searching, we just so happened to see that spot open. It was like a tailor-made spot, so we just decided to, go in there. We had the money ready to go, so it was just something that we were just anticipating.
Awesome. So obviously we've been doing a lot of podcasts since COVID has happened, and a lot of small businesses have been in here and they've learned a lot from COVID. What's something you guys have learned that honestly you think everyone's really negative about COVID? What have you learned that has made you guys better from COVID?
Well, I mean, I got to give big props to these guys specifically because I think they really kind of took it upon themselves to really help expand the online shop for us, which if there's anything that you have to learn about COVID is you have to be resilient, and, being brick and mortar is not the easiest thing, right? So
sure.
When that kind of first initial wave of COVID happened and the closures happened, we saw a gigantic decrease in foot traffic. Thankfully we never had to shut down, but it did kill our sales pretty much, to the point where you're like, for a couple months, you're like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, 100%.
So, we had an online shop, but these guys really took it upon themselves to really kind of boost that. And yeah, you have to kind of, I don't know, I guess, I didn't make this up, but someone said you got to get smart, you got to get out, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's pretty much the thing, focusing on online marketing, really boosting the online sales, and, really learning what avenues you can tap into to keep up with growth, and luckily we were able to do that. And yeah, I mean, I think now almost a year later, sales are pretty much where they were at, and very fortunate for that, man.
It's crazy to think, like, the one thing I know, like, I pay attention to Rogan and stuff, and Rogan has been hollering about it, is like no one's talking about health in COVID, right? Like one of my best friends is a nurse in the COVID, and a lot of his people were just like overweight, diabetes, whatever, and it's like we're not ever talking about health. And that's honestly a biggest problem that I think we always have, and more people need to know about health,
Yeah, these guys are just giving me because on my way over here I was listening to to Rogan's podcast.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy, man. I mean, I don't want to tap too much into the political sphere, but
for sure.
At the same time, it is kind of I guess it's a little bit shocking that as much as we're putting an emphasis on closures and we got to do this and you got to stay away from each other and all this kind of stuff, I mean, where's like the one or two people that really have just a gigantic impact on everyone in society? Who's out there saying like, hey, you have to lose weight, hey, that's the biggest comorbidity for COVID is being overweight, hey, you have to eat healthy, right? So I think and again, I don't claim to be a medical professional in any way, shape, or form, but I mean, it's like something like only 4% of people admitted to ICUs have sufficient levels of vitamin D. That's a crazy statistic, right? So something that's been proven to at least, not cure COVID, but I mean, really help drastically improve your immune health. I mean, no one's really talking about this except
just
people,
even a multivitamin every day. You know what I mean?
Man, it's not.
Or shout out to the green powder from your guys' shop, which I will say it's not the greatest tasting, but I get it down. But I don't know any green powder that's good
usually
tasting.
The stuff that's good for you doesn't taste.
No, like I remember the first day I got it, and I was like, okay, I can get through this.
We gotta probably invent like a cheesecake flavored greens.
Yeah, you need to do something, dude, because it is rough. I try to get it down as quick as possible. So what's crazy to think too is like now that you guys have made it. I mean, obviously, I think we're on the backside of this. business, and you guys have gotten stronger. Are you guys gonna be still like going ham on online sales? Like, is that like social and things like that? Because I've seen your social game step up in like the last few months. So is that something you guys are really working on for the next 2021?
So yeah, most definitely. It is something that we definitely need to work more and more on, and I think as time goes, we'll be able to invest more and more on our online marketing and expand our website. You know, again, looking at different brands that we trust, and you know, formulas that you don't see every day, right? So definitely a market that is still untapped and it's still on the rise. You know, everything's online nowadays.
For sure.
You know, and I mean, look at Amazon. Amazon's pretty much taking over.
Do you guys do stuff on Amazon?
No.
No.
Not currently.
No.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, definitely
trying to stick it to the man.
Yeah, that boy.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, definitely. We're going to be expanding on online website or on our website, and also our apparel. Our apparel has been doing just crazy online. It's just crazy because you know we're not an apparel brand whatsoever, but people love our swagger. So definitely something.
Is that a better price margin for you guys? Is it a clothes over supplement?
Probably not really. I mean,
no.
We like to think of our apparel as probably more of like a marketing tool, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
So you almost like break even on it.
Yeah, we have fun with it. We like to create stuff that
Who creates
we would
them?
wear. I guess all collectively, you know.
So
pretty
you
much.
guys are the designers?
Well, we outsource with a couple of different designers, but you know.
The concepts and ideas.
Yeah.
The hard part is like, what people don't realize with designers is like, you still have to come with them to an idea.
Yeah.
Because if not, it's sometimes just the worst stuff comes back. They have no direction sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, but I feel like it's like just business in general. You have to have
100%.
a vision, you know.
Yeah.
Without a vision, you know, you're not gonna ever, you know, accomplish the goal. So.
Yeah. But our overall goal hasn't really been to make really money with the apparel. I mean, we sell for like $20 usually.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm sure you know if you've ever made anything. Cost of printing isn't cheap.
It's not cheap, dude.
So we just like the fact. I think we've been so successful with it because I like to genuinely think that people like the time and effort that we put into our designs. And yeah, I don't know. I think we make some pretty cool shirts, man. You know, even though like you said, we're not an apparel brand, and we just like to use it to kind of get our name out there.
Yeah,
So.
I think that's what people don't realize. Like, I just made some shirts like, oh, where's mine at? I'm like, dude, that's like $20, dude.
Yeah,
Let me give you like $20, like throw you a shirt, and it's like,
Yeah.
cool. I just spent $400 on a shirt, and I got to keep one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, cause like people are hitting me like, oh, where's mine? Where's mine? Where's mine? I'm like, all right, well, you gotta like post it on Instagram, tag me in it.
Yeah,
like,
man.
can we like work it? You know, we talked in the shop about sponsored athlete stuff. Is that something that like? It's interesting that people do not get unless they own their own business is like promoting other people. Like, it's so natural for me to do it. Just like walking in the shop, I'm like, yo, let's podcast it. Let's go. Like, let's just do it. You know, and that's the thing, like we were talking earlier, is like, you know, if it's not their business, they don't understand. So you guys, obviously, you guys kind of have your little crew of athletes that rock your stuff and that post all the time. Is that something that you reach out to people, they reach out to you? How do you, you know, if there's someone out here watching this that wants to be a, you know, rep your guys' stuff, how does that work?
I think first and foremost with pretty much people that, you know, I think we talked about this a little bit at the shop. You know, sponsorship is kind of like it's kind of a weird term, right? Because,
sure.
You know, people assume that you're getting paid some sort of salary, something like that. I would like to think that the people that we really work with closely have truthfully really become our friends.
Yeah.
Right? So sponsorship to us is a little bit different. So we focus more on cross-marketing with people. And like you said, man, the value of social media is huge, right?
Yeah.
So if someone genuinely likes your product and your stuff and they tag you and they shout you out, then, you know, it's kind of one of those things where, like, we're going to do the same thing, right? And if you can help us bring in customers, then we can help reimburse you with products that you like, right? So we really like it to be a really organic process because a lot of times we found in our past, at least when you go through serious sponsorships with people just kind of, I don't know, man, unfortunately, people just kind of tend to take it for granted.
100%.
Right? So we really just have focused on true organic growth from the 4 years that we've been open, and I feel like just the connections that we've made, even just locally in Riverside, have just been tremendous. So we really just like to work with individuals who want to work with us, you know?
Yeah.
So.
No, yeah, definitely. I've been in both realms. I'm a professional athlete. And
Hey, you're a fighter, right?
Yeah.
I do my homework. You train with Carlos, right? No, what's his name?
I train at Carlson Gracie. Yeah,
Carlos and Gracie.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, I've been in both avenues where, you know, I'm the athlete, but also now, you know, I do the sponsoring too.
You're like, man, I was a terrible athlete. I never shouted anyone out. What was I thinking? So has that changed the game from being an athlete to now being a business owner?
Most definitely. Now picking out the athletes, I kind of can explain to them like how the process really is, and kind of break it down in the sense that it's not just how my brother was saying. Like, it's not just you make the big bucks and you're getting the fly cars and the models and all. That doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, unless like you're in the top. But it's something that I guess it helps in the sense of like marketing, and teach them like how true marketing needs to be, because it is a network. You have to network, and we share our athletes too, and in the sense of social media. So social media presence, I feel, is really, really big. So definitely I'd say someone needs to have somewhat of a good presence in order to be an athlete.
That's what people don't understand, is that like nowadays it's like you're present online, it's like currency, right? Like, people don't understand that. Like, when I first started doing all this stuff, people thought I was stupid in my world, right? They're like, you have a guy following around the camera, what a like nerd you are. And I'm like, okay. And now it's like over 100,000 impressions a month on all my platforms, right? It's like, that works. Like, it works. Like, I always tell everyone, like, it'll work. It will. But so are you guys, like, how are you guys handling your media? Do you have a media guy, right? Or who runs your Instagram? Or is it just a collective thing?
I think we tend to have specific roles. My brother kind of tends to focus more on the social media aspects. This is the genius right here. So he does all of our accounts payable, accounts receivable. I tend to do more of operations. So we kind of have these defined roles, but we also really try to help each other with everything, So.
So what's your goal? Obviously, a lot of people are watching this probably like wanting to grow to online presence. Like, what's your rules that you have for social? Is it like daily posting? Is it weekly posting? What kind of content you're trying to shoot for?
So I've been trying to figure out the new like algorithm. It's just
I can't figure it out.
It's just I'm
not a chick and I'm not hot, so it's like,
exactly,
you know what I mean?
I don't got a big butt.
I don't got a big
You
butt.
gotta have a big fake butt, or you gotta have a couple $100 to put on Instagram. That's the algorithm.
That's what I'm saying. Like, God, I need to pull some money out of an account, put stacks of cash on the table or something. I gotta rent a car.
I think the algorithm is Instagram just like records this shape or something like that.
I have no idea. It's like it doesn't even read faces anymore. It just reads butt size. That's all it is. Listen, I don't even look like I don't even like. It's like they just try to draw you on the Explorer page. Like, I'm not even looking at that stuff. And every time I go on there, I'm like, the hell is going on here, man? Is this? I'm like, it's not an OnlyFans page all of a sudden. So do you put like a strict schedule on yourself? Because I know, like, a lot of people always hit me up in my world, like, oh, I want to do what you do. But it's like, dude, it's so time consuming. And you're like, I'm also trying to run a business, and you're training, and you have a life. And so how do you manage that?
So honestly, it's just, I guess, scheduling it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, I mean, I wake up like at 5 a.m., I go to strength conditioning. From strength conditioning, get ready for work, blah, blah, blah. And then I head to the shop, and I chug down a Bang. I take an nootropic, and which like helps a lot with focus. And I just get in the zone and just think of like crazy captions to post that goes with like ideal photos. So also photography is huge. If you don't have aesthetic photos, automatically someone's gonna skip through your photo. Or if you don't have a cool video,
Yeah, I go too much video. I need to do more photos. I hate taking photos. Like, I'm just not a fan of it.
Oh, man, same here, man.
I'm like great on camera. Like, put me in front of a camera, I'll talk all the time. But you want to take a photo of me? I'm like, I want to do like that looking off to the distance. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to stare at the camera.
Yeah, but that's big. Yeah, I think being organized and structurally, setting a time to be like, all right, I need to post this before 12. And I need to, one thing I'm seeing is reposting a lot of people's stories. Just it feels like they're a part of something.
For sure.
Everyone wants to be a part of something, I feel like.
Yeah.
So doing that, it's just like people are more like intrigued by it. They're like, oh, what did they post today? Or like, who's this? Who's that? So that for sure. And then definitely I feel like you think in your head, all right, what time do people get off of work?
Yeah.
So I'm like, roughly around 3 to 5 is usually the time people get off of work. All right, well, they're doing whatever they need to do, traffic, all that stuff, and then they're home, or they're at the gym, or they're going to their second job.
Yeah.
And so they're gonna scroll through Instagram. It's just.
Are you the one? Do you respond to all the DMs too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's a lot of work right there.
Man, it is a lot of work. But yeah, I mean, gotta adjust. Just going back to the COVID situation, I think that really, really woke us up in the sense of like, all right, we need to be on social media. We need to remind our customers that we're here.
every day.
And we're there for them.
There's only 3 rules of business, and that's rule number 1.
Yeah.
That's it. There's only 3 rules. Everyone tries to make this game harder than it is. There's only 3.
Yeah.
If you master those 3, you'll be super successful. So okay, so you got the social media. You're ops, right?
Pretty much, man.
So future, thinking to make things smoother. What's something you guys are working on right now?
We're just always trying to plan a way to be able to, not really take the money. We want to always plan ahead of time to be able to save a good amount of money to be able to
So you're the penny
reinvest.
pincher.
Yeah.
You're the guy that like we want to spend some money. Like you got to go through you.
He's the guy who's
Pretty
like,
much, man.
he's the guy who's like, hey man, too many OnlyFans subscriptions. This
Yeah,
month. You
exactly.
gotta chill out.
He's like, dude, that shirt was $17. We just lost that.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So then now, like, what is the future for you guys, right? Outside, I'm going to change the question. What is something you're working on outside of the shop? Go. Let people know a little bit more about you. Is it like getting leaner? Is it family? Is it some other business? What is something you're working on other than the shop?
I'm not.
Maybe it's just getting more sleep.
Yes, definitely.
No,
Yeah.
that's definitely true, man. I mean, I guess from a personal thing, really just with COVID, man, everybody was affected, man. I probably put on a couple more pounds than I wanted to too, man. So definitely just hitting hard in the gym.
Do you feel
Is-
like
is always the
does
goal
that
for
make you
sure.
guys nervous? Because you guys are like pure nutrition. You guys are in the shop. Does it like make you like fuck? Like I'm getting out of shape. Like I can't be out of shape. And
Yeah.
people walk into my shop and ask for so is that some pressure you guys put on yourself to be in the gym a lot?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think we're probably all at the gym at least like
Yeah,
6 days a week.
It's part
right?
of it. I mean,
Yeah.
it definitely is like a hobby for us as well.
Yeah.
Like for me, for the most part, I mean, I always love to challenge myself, whether if it's like just doing the most basic thing, telling myself that I have to require myself to apply certain types of chores or whatever it is. I just always make objectives for myself.
For sure.
I guess fitness is always a good distraction, to keep me on the right path, make sure I'm just,
You ever
staying
guys
on
thought
schedule,
about opening
man,
a
so-
gym?
Actually, it's been one of my passions since pretty much being in college.
To open your own gym?
Yeah, one of my best friends. His name is Craig Sidinglands. He's actually out in Boston right now. He actually
Shout out to Craig.
Yeah.
shout out to Craig. He actually works for the #1 strength coach in the world, Mike Boyle.
Okay.
And man, he just learned so much. And we've always had this passion, like, dude, we want to open up a facility that's like caters to athletes. Because man, not knocking out anyone's training style or anything like that, but a lot of people are just do the generic, personal training that's not catering to the specific needs for the person. So we want to have that niche where we could actually break down the diet, break down the fundamentals, break down injury prevention, all those things.
Yeah.
So it's always been one of our passions, and he's going to be opening up a gym in Vermont pretty soon. So I told him, I was like, hey, bro, get that experience in.
Let me know.
Let's open another gym up in a couple years.
Yeah.
But with goals, man, I always have a lot of goals.
Yeah.
My main goal is actually I want to be in the UFC. I want to make the UFC before the end of this year.
Yeah, the rumor was someone told me that you turned down being on what was that show that UFC had?
The Contender Series.
Yeah, I heard is that a true story?
Yeah, man. So I technically retired last year, or actually 2019, or I guess 2020 New Year's.
Yeah.
Because we were gonna open the shop, and I just started thinking of so many things. I was like, well, all right, quality of life. I want to have a family.
Yeah.
I want to have kids. Injuries, man, injuries in the sport is just crazy. I mean, I broke my L5. I was a collegiate athlete at Cal Baptist University, and I broke my L5. I think it was like my junior year. I got into fighting, and I took a shot in it, and like my back spazzed out, and I was like, oh well, it's whatever.
Yeah.
A couple months down the line, I was doing deadlifts.
You're 22. You're like,
I'm fine.
Yeah.
And I ended up hurting myself, and I went to the doctor, got X-rayed, and they're like, yeah, you broke your L5, and I was like, oh shit, like it's crazy. And so I had to do the rehab for that. Man, I used to be able to do the splits. Now I was barely able to touch my knees for a second. And then now, thankfully, I've been working actually with a mobility coach. His name is Andrew. He actually he's a coach over at the Animal House here in downtown.
Adam was just in here yesterday with his
Oh,
crew.
really? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they do their podcast here.
Yeah, and man.
Yeah. Who's it over there? Andrew?
Andrew. Yeah, Andrew.
Oh, the yoga. Yeah, Drew.
Yeah,
Drew. Yeah.
That's my mobility coach.
Yeah,
right there,
him,
man.
Drew, and Poylock.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Poylock.
Shout out to Animal House.
Yeah, they're in here. They're doing their podcast in here now.
And actually, I'm working with Poylock right now, actually, for my strength conditioning, and it's a blessing to be working with these guys.
We're trying to get a PT in there too right now. Like the guy who just worked on me the other night here, we're getting him an animal. Dude, he tore me up. I was so sore the next day. So what's the goal? What's the steps then? Like, I don't know how. I'm not into fighting, so do you have to start getting some big fights in before? Or when's your next fight coming up?
Yeah, so that's the really big thing is right now I'm not able to take on a fight. I don't have enough time to be on a full fight camp.
Yeah.
You know, I'm working every day. My only day off right now is on Fridays.
Yeah.
And that's the day I just train. You know, so until we get employees, things like that, you know, I'll be able to take on a full fight camp.
Is it just you three employees?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so these guys are pretty much holding up the fort on Riverside while I'm in Marietta every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I know it's just a little bit of sacrifice for now, but I'm staying in shape. I'm staying prepped. I feel great mentally. You know, with the passing of my mom, I think it sparked a big flame in me.
For sure.
And just told me, like, you know what, I need to make the best out of this. And so I want to leave a great foundation for my children.
Yeah.
So I'm going to leave my mark, and I think that's something that everyone needs to look at. So the reason why I want to be in the UFC is not for the fame. It's not for the money. I want to do it because, one, the drive I have to want to be the champ is one. But two, I want to leave a message for everyone to let them know that it doesn't matter where you come from or what you have in front of you. There's always room for more, and you always want to be the best at something. So, you know, I think all of us actually, we're all first generations in this country, and definitely want to change the stigma of, like, you know, of wanting to be something great. You know, leave your remark. You know, be something that's not, I guess, normal.
Yeah. Do you guys have big family support? Because obviously, like, open your own business. Like, when I opened up this place, my mom was, like, really nervous for me, right? Because she could see how much money I was spending and the chance of failure. And now that I've made it 4 years, she's like, oh, okay, now I believe in you. We're like, how's your family support?
Well, I think that I could probably speak for all of us when we say that. I think just hard work has probably been instilled in all of us.
Do you think it's an immigrant thing, right? I feel like I'm from America. I mean, my family. I'm like, you know, we're kind of lazier. You know what I mean? I'm just letting you know.
You know, I think it's
I'm not gonna lie.
I think
I can admit that.
I think it can be like a cliche answer, but in some ways, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know, anybody who's close to me has probably heard this story, but I'll tell it real quickly. I mean, my parents passed away, you know, 4 or 5 years ago, but you know, they came into this country with a penny. You know, my pop sold fruit out of a cart, saved enough money to where he was selling fruit out of a van. Saved enough money to where he was selling, you know, fruit out of a little shop.
Yeah.
And that was in Chicago. And, yeah, man, eventually met my mom and, you know, became business owners out here. You know, so they bought a couple of commercial properties. And it's weird because, you know, my parents always told me, go to college, get a 9-to-5, do this, do that, you know, get a career. But it's like, you know, it's like.
But you didn't do that.
Yeah, they didn't do that, right? So, you know, it's kind of one of those things where I guess it was just kind of instilled into me indirectly, you know, and same for them, man. You know, their parents, you know, came from Mexico and Guatemala and really just like didn't have the education, but just did the damn thing, you know. So
the desire and the will, you know, they didn't make excuses, and that's the reason why we are where we are today.
Yeah.
It's funny. I just did a podcast. I just launched it yesterday. It was with the guy who owns Brandon Diner.
Mm-hmm.
Came over at 16 from Mexico.
It's crazy.
He's a dishwasher. Now he owns 14 restaurants, has 400 employees.
That's nuts.
That's amazing.
And the only reason he kept it as Brandon's Diner is because he didn't have enough money to change the sign. He's like, I couldn't even say Brandon's Diner when I first bought it. And it's just like crazy to think like a guy came from nothing, right? Refied his house just to buy this small little restaurant, did a good job, then bought another one. Now he has 14 of them.
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
It's amazing, right? Like, and it's like that's the reason like I love doing this podcast is like there's so many people sitting out here that are on the fence, maybe not opening a nutrition shop or pure nutrition, but it's like I want to open this, and then but it's like you got to take the leap. It's the hardest part is the jump.
For sure, man. Yeah. I think that, you know, man, I'm probably just not in the know about the resources, but I'm sure there has to be some out there for people to be like, hey, you know, what baby steps can I take to open up a business, right?
No, I don't think so.
So
it's I don't think because I don't, you know what it is? Because there's so many ways you can do it.
Yeah.
That it's just like everyone's different, and you just got to find your niche, and you got to just be able to worth the sacrifice.
Yeah.
You know, I had this young couple in here the other night, and they were talking, and they were asking about all these questions, and they want to open their own gym or PT place or whatever. And I'm like, the problem is everything has sacrifices. Yeah. You say you want your husband to own his own business until he's gone from 7 a.m. to 8 o'clock at night for 5 years. You know?
Yeah, it's true, man. When we opened up Pure Nutrition,
100%.
We did, man, we didn't take anything for almost probably a year, man. It was.
Yeah.
It
I'm
was
finally
tough,
profitable.
man.
People
Yeah.
go like, people
It was
like,
tough,
oh, you
man.
must. I'm like, dude, like this all costs money, and you got to believe in it. You know what I mean? You got to believe in it.
We're all working part-time jobs while operating.
Yeah, you gotta believe it.
Shout out to Alex, man. If you want to tell your story, then this
Alex,
man was
tell a
working
story.
graveyard, bro.
Man. Yeah, I think it was when was it? Probably like
First year,
17.
Yeah, it was like the beginning of 17. I just literally couldn't. I ran out of savings and ran out of some money to be able to afford some bills. So I literally had to go work at a gas station, almost full time actually at a gas station, full time at our business, for like several months. Literally go into work, close at 9 p.m. at Riverside. Take a couple of hours of a break, by going home, showering, getting ready for a graveyard shift at the gas station.
That's what people don't see, man.
People don't see it, man.
don't see
I
it.
wish I was videotaping. I wish I had a camera guy when I first started, or
Right.
when I blew out this whole office. And I really wish I could actually put on the truth.
Yeah.
Because even though, there's probably times you want to post something so bad, but you, in your mind, you're like, this can totally be taken the wrong way.
Oh, yeah,
and it's like, it's not worth the post.
Yeah.
Right.
There's so many times I want to post that. And I already am on the edge with things I post, but there's so many times, there's a story I remember when I opened this place, had 100 G's in the bank, and I was like, I could do this. And then by the time 3 months came around, I was broke. This place took way more money to cost me way more money than I thought it was to build out. Everything always costs more money. It's like, oh, it's cost me 30 G's. No, 60 G's later, everything's more expensive.
Right.
And then it's like you think of you don't realize all the small little expenses that just add up
Real quick.
Printers, insurance, something breaks, then you got to buy a new one. It's a reason why 95% of small businesses don't make it. They don't realize it. And
Shout out to California, man, for making it the hardest they can make it for a small business to succeed.
100%, especially with minimum wage going up.
Yeah, man.
I mean, that's the thing that all the people don't realize too is when it doesn't affect you, then you don't even think about it. Oh yeah, minimum wage should be $15. I'm like, okay, think about this for a second. Yeah. All of a sudden, you're gonna bump up all these small businesses to have to pay more after they just got crushed in a pandemic.
Yeah.
You're only killing them, and you're gonna raise payroll taxes, and you're gonna raise corporation taxes, and you're gonna I don't all of a sudden make 10% more money.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that people don't see. Man.
You have to raise prices,
exactly,
or you fire people.
Yep.
There's only two ways to go,
Exactly.
and that's the thing that people do not process is that your prices get raised. Because I think the one thing I hope people realize when COVID is all of us aren't balling out, right?
Yeah.
All our small businesses, all the hours we put in, we ain't balling, right? We're all 3-4 months away from being broke.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Even though the greatest restaurants are even think about LA Fitness.
Yeah.
You think that place is balling out? Dude, there's a lot of them not gonna reopen.
Yeah.
I think they got bought out.
By what's it called?
Sporta.
Oh yeah, Sporta. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like-
it's nuts. It's been around for I don't know how many years.
Tons, right?
Yeah.
But they over leveraged themselves,
Yeah.
got too big for their britches,
Yeah.
and who would ever think this was going to happen? So do you think mom and pop gym shops like Animal House Fitness are going to be the new wave? Do you think that's good? The big box chains might be finally disappearing, and the more niche people are going to start coming through?
Actually, we had that conversation a couple of years actually before even obviously the pandemic. We talked about I think that's gonna be the new wave is training facilities where there's more one-on-one clients or personal training classes. I think this is a more niche. People are feel more involved, so they like that. Someone always wants to be a part of something. Like I said earlier.
Well, you just need the crew, man. I'll say this: I've never really worked out with a trainer. Now I'm working out with Zach. I work out so much harder.
Right. Yeah, just a push.
A push.
Yeah.
Right? And we're putting on camera, and I keep on telling my guy, make me look as strong as possible. I'm like, do not zoom in on how heavy the weights are, right? Just show everything else but the actual weights.
Load up the weights, you gotta smack them hard.
I'm just slamming stuff, yelling. I might what's his name? I'm going to make his name. What's the guy who does fake weights on Instagram all the time?
Brad Castleberry.
Brad Castleberry. I need to call him, borrow some weights, right? Gonna go chain with him, right? So we can make the videos look a little bit better. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys coming in. So what's one thing you want to, every time I do these podcasts, I try to, the main goal is to do two things. One, promote businesses, and two, give insight of someone who's might be watching this that might want to do something that you guys are doing. What's one thing, we can leave this off and we'll go down there. What's one thing you've learned from doing this that you wish you would have known before starting this journey that you're on right now?
I think I joke with the guys about this all the time. I mean, I say it jokingly, but it's kind of probably true. I mean, like, if I would have known all the shit we had to go through 4 or 5 years later, I'm like, I wouldn't have done this. But I'm so glad I did, man.
Do you walk into the shop? Do you walk in your shop and you're just like, this is my effing shop?
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's how I walk into this place. People make fun of me. I'm like, this is my office. Do you walk in your shop and, like, every day, like, it never gets old. When you open that door, you're like, this is my shop. I don't work for anyone. Like, that is something that fuels me every single day.
For sure, man. I mean, it's one of those things where you can't get complacent, which, everyone's guilty of sometimes getting complacent. And thankfully, we have a good group of guys who, above everything else, we're all very honest and trustworthy with each other. And aside from any other traits that you may have, that's the one thing that I'm just so blessed to say that I have with these guys. We all can totally trust each other and be really, really good friends, right, at the end of the day. But to answer your question, I mean, yeah, it's one of those things where, we touched on it earlier. Like, yeah, I would really hope that people can think that, there's one thing I really want to do, do it. If you have a little bit of money saved up, start it. Yeah. Just do it. At the end of the day, just do it, It's kind of weird where we are 4 or 5 years later, but yeah, man, you just got to put in that sacrifice, right? And you have to expect 6 to 12 months of, man, this sucks.
Suck.
Yeah.
This really sucks.
Embrace the suck.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to cut you off, man. But another point, right? So we talked about, does it have to be niche? Kind of, but not really. Like, we've made a niche with certain things like our apparel brand and that side of stuff and our social media. But realistically, man, customers can buy pre-workout from Amazon. They can get it from Walmart. But I truthfully like to think that the thing that separated us is really building those relationships, man. We've made so many friends and networked with so many people that, man, I have people that come up to us all the time at the shop like, man, I like shopping with you guys because I just like shooting the shit with you.
Yeah, rule number 2 of business.
So,
people have to like you.
I mean, I really genuinely think that people just really like us as people, and we're just genuine, man.
Yeah.
So we aren't super niche-y, but I think that we've found a way to, even though we're brick and mortar and mom and pop, I mean, people really want to shop with us because they appreciate us.
I think if you make the service easy, then people will go to other people other than Amazon.
Yeah.
The only reason people go to Amazon is that your credit card's always locked in. I can order something and it's there in 2 days.
It's convenient.
It's super convenient. That's the only reason people shop Amazon.
Yeah.
It's not even prices. I mean, sometimes the prices are a little bit better, but it's just, I can go on there real quick. My credit card's already in. The address is already in. So if you can make it as smooth as that, I don't think people.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Very, very important for everyone listening is have a good vision, place a good foundation, have a good plan. And you're still going to learn things along the way. I mean, really big, right? You go to school, you go to college, and you're supposed to learn all these crazy things. I mean, I speak to my fiance all the time because she's a nurse. For me, she's like, Wonder Woman. And she's like, yeah, most of the shit I learned in school, like, wasn't applicable. Like, some it was, but it's not applicable.
It's not applicable in the real world.
So same thing with the business. Like, you can research and do all you can.
You can read as many books as you want. You got to get in the game.
You have to learn it, and you have to adjust really quick.
Mike Tyson.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Exactly. There you go.
So what's one thing you've learned, man? So you have to have a vision. What's something you wish you would have known before you started this journey, and now that you've known 5 years later?
I guess, it's a good question. I don't really know.
Wish I would have known how to properly file taxes. I'll tell you that.
Oh, 100%,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Or like
taxes.
Or like corporation. Yes. Like, what's an LLC? When do I need to switch to an S corp? What's payroll? How do I need to have health? I have to have insurance on myself.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I'm the owner. Well, technically, you're a W-2 employee. If you slip and fall in your place, you have to. Like, when do you switch to W-2 employee from an LLC? What do you hold your corporation in?
Man.
Business accounts.
Yeah.
How much do you need to take in taxes? I remember that first year I was like, so I was in baseball for 10 years. I made $19,000 a year, right? got fired. Then I went into this, made way more than that in my first year. And then taxes came around. I had no money for taxes. I'm like, how did I just make so much more money?
I just worked for all of this. How are you stripping?
Like, how did I make so much more money this year? And I have no money to pay my taxes.
Yeah, man.
I'm like, what? now you got to be like 33% goes to taxes.
Mm-hmm.
That's what another thing I think people underestimate. Like, they don't understand. It's payroll taxes. It's other taxes.
Franchise tax.
Franchise tax.
Yeah.
It's
District, city,
district,
all that, man.
city. It's
Yeah.
business license.
Yep.
Right? Being in downtown, I had to pay more because I'm in the historic district.
Bro, let's just move to Texas.
I know. No, listen, man. I'd move to Texas, but I've built such a following here. I wouldn't want to start over. You know what I mean? So, Alex, what's one thing you've learned from this job that you wish you would have known before, and that you've learned in the last 5 years?
Man, I don't even know where to even think
Even
about
begin?
that, man. Yeah. No, well, I mean, I've learned quite a bit, of course. Just difficult to kind of put in one thing, but I guess the one thing that I can actually recommend to people when they start some sort of adventure, is to make sure you really do love it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, don't kind of fall into something just because there's so much hype behind that subject, right? What I mean by that is like, you know, if you love, you know, whatever you're gonna fall into, if you know you have a passion for it, you'll find any way to be able to make money out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and whatever struggles you actually run into, you know, when you're going through the process, it will make that process a little bit easier because it's something that you cherish.
Yeah.
You know? Whether if it's, you know, whatever you decide to do, I mean, yeah, you just got to make sure you have some passion, some fire for it, because that fire will still continue, even though you might run into some crazy crap like, you know, COVID, for example. And I'm sure a lot of people are feeling that, but yeah, it just, you know, you just got to make sure you really enjoy what you do. And
remember why you're doing it.
Yeah,
And
because
remember
it
why you're
always
doing
turns into a
so.
job. It
Exactly.
always turns into a job.
Yeah.
I don't care how much you love it, it's going to turn into a job.
Yeah.
There's going to be moments you want to quit. I tell my assistant every other day I'm quitting for like 30 seconds a day, and then I move on, you know what I mean? So, but boys, I really appreciate you coming in. Remember, guys, go check them out. Their website will be in the link below. I'll have their Instagram too. If you're lost and you want to know what you should be taking, or health or fitness or diet or whatever, just walk into the shop. The boys will take care of you. That's what we've been doing, walking in there. It's a great atmosphere. They'll make you feel welcome, because we all know sometimes it's intimidating to walk into a place.
Don't be scared, guys.
Don't be scared. They're really nice guys. And until next time, guys, peace.
Later.
So much
There it goes.